Racing games are one of those genres that are the bread and butter of a console, consistent sellers that are needed to round out a library, and yet very few of them keep much interest long term. Decades later, people don't want to go back to those old racing games. In the case of Bari Bari Densetsu, this is a game that has the feel of a standard racing game of the 1980s, but it pushed the technology of racing games a lot harder than it might seem. Bari Bari Densetsu started out as a comic, and initially it was focused on illegal street racing through the mountains of Japan. By 1989, however, the focus had shifted to professional motorcycle racing. Bari Bari Densetsu was still ongoing when the video game was released, and after the series concluded in 1991, the author couldn't let the concept go, and so he wound up making another racing series called Initial D. Bari Bari Densetsu sounds like it would have been the perfect setup for a Taito arcade game, but this video game version of Bari Bari Densetsu is a PC Engine original. You're offered two modes when you start playing, Travel and WGP, or World Grand Prix. Travel is the practice mode. You can pick out any one of the 16 tracks available in the game, and run 4 laps against an empty track. Mainly you'd use this mode to learn how to tune your machine and get the tracks down. When you're ready to race against other people, you go to WGP, and this will take you through each track in series. First you do a qualifying lap, and if you finish in the top 7 there, then you do a 4-lap race against everyone. When you know where you're going, you get your choice of regulation, shift, and play. And yet, Bari Bari Densetsu has some really bad English. Regulation is supposed to be regulation, but even then, regulation doesn't make a lot of sense because that's where you go to tune your motorcycle. Every part has 3 options, and by default everything is set up to the regular one. That would be the middle option for everything except the tires, where the alternatives are for rain. On the track, button 2 accelerates, button 1 brakes. For qualifying laps, you get a running start, so you zip across the starting line at high speed, and then keep it going. Something that you might not notice unless you've played a lot of these arcade-style racing games is that the way that the game displays curves in Bari Bari Densetsu is really good. To this point, everything that I've played has one graphic that it displays for a curve. While in Bari Bari Densetsu, you can see how sharp the curve is, you can see the end of the curve approaching, and on some windy tracks, you can see the next curve coming up while you're still in the current curve. It's a lot better visual cue than you usually get. Now this isn't perfect. I think the graphics of the road closest to you wind up being awfully flickery, for example, and the transition from a straightaway to a curve isn't particularly smooth, but it's a huge improvement on anything that we've seen before on the PC Engine. I should point out that this style of improved graphics wasn't unique to Bari Bari Densetsu. It's just that the visual improvements were things that you more commonly saw on platforms with a lot more power. While you're racing, the weather can change on you. It'll go from clear to overcast, and possibly start raining. Before you begin racing, it'll tell you the chance of rain that day, and you can adjust your tires if you feel it's necessary. You only crash in Bari Bari Densetsu if you run into an obstacle on the side of the road. However, you can easily get bumped into those by other racers. Usually, they're not that aggressive, but every so often they'll just get mean on you. For what it's worth, the red motorcycles are just the generic people, while the ones who have other colored suits are the ones that you're actually racing against. Passing them, or getting past, is what will bring your rank up and down. For the qualifying lap, if you're not happy with your time at the end of it, then you're allowed to redo it until you get it right. And you'll definitely want to if you're not going to be able to run the race. When you complete the proper race, you get points based on where you finished, and of course those points determine who wins the racing season. Every 4 tracks that you complete, you'll get a password that'll let you continue from that point. It does feel kind of odd that it is only every 4 tracks. You'll have to play roughly half an hour before you'll get your password. Something that you might notice about the tracks is that they're all Formula 1 circuits. While this does happen from time to time, it's not especially common, and it's definitely not 16 tracks. Bari Bari Densetsu, the PC Engine game, seems to have a small but dedicated following in Japan. Not a lot of people are super excited for it, but its few fans seem to be really passionate. My own take is, this is the best racing game I've seen so far on the PC Engine. It just feels and plays the smoothest of all of them. Its biggest problems are that technology has passed it by. But if I had gotten this game in 1989, I definitely would have been very happy with it.